Do I know if Method bugged the boss the same way as Pieces with Mage Venthia? So I'll give you a full timeline of the events. From start to finish, I will give you a full timeline of the events that happened the moment that the boss bugged the first time. The moment the boss bugged the first time. So, obviously we'd had, until that point, we'd had 1 or 2 P4 attempts previously. And it healed all the way to full, you know, it healed to the 19% that it's supposed to with the mortal wounds. And that's all well and good, so we'd already started looking into the phase anyway. The first time that it happened that we got the bug, we didn't do any investigating into it ourselves, but we immediately reported it to Blizzard. It's now kind of well known that there's a shared Discord for all of the top guilds directly with some Blizzard devs. So Biff immediately reported it, said, look, our boss just healed to 11%, just cancel it, heal, we don't know why, what do you want us to do about it? Blizzard said, okay, thank you for reporting it, we'll look into it, just keep pulling. They didn't tell us to stop pulling, they didn't tell us to wait, they didn't tell us anything like that. My assumption is they told us to keep pulling simply to try and get a little bit more data on it, because, you know, a pull sample size of 1 is not really a good amount of data for Blizzard to be able to look into it. Because at that point, anything that does happen is purely speculation. So we did. We kept pulling. And then the next time we made it to phase 4, the bug happened again. And that was the pull that we killed it. We then sat and... When did Skyline kill it? Skyline killed it yesterday, right? So yesterday, after Skyline killed it, a clip went out of their transition. And I know that Biff and at least 1 or 2 of the other officers sat and were looking over this clip repeatedly. I also had a little look into it myself as well, and I thought I'd spotted what it might have been. But they were literally sat looking into the clip repeatedly and just trying to work out what it was that had caused it. We think we found out what it was that caused it, and then reported that bug straight to Blizzard. And Blizzard said that they were going to look into it. Since then, they've come out and said, yes, this is the cause of the bug. We are going to fix it. And then we're going to fix it at the end of this reset, and then make some compensatory nerfs to the jailer so that, you know, the boss doesn't immediately, like, crank back up in difficulty again. You know what I mean? So, yeah. For us, it was something that we didn't know why it was happening. For Skyline, I'm not sure if they knew it was happening or not. It looked mostly coincidental. And then Pieces and Liquid found out, or well, Pieces found out about it. They researched it and actually found out what it was. Tried it and it worked, so they actively looked to use it, which fair enough. If we weren't going to have our kill taken away, or if we weren't going to get banned for it, then there's no shot that they would have been either. You know what I mean? And everyone wanted out of that raid, so it's not like I care that much for them, you know, exploiting the bug or using the bug, however you want to call it. It is what it is, you know. It was there to be used. Clearly Blizzard had set the precedent that they weren't going to do anything about it. I think they should have done something about it, not with them, but with us. I think that if they were able to find out what it was quickly enough, I wanted them to take our kill away within 15 to 20 minutes or so, fix the problem if they were able to work out what it was, and then make us pull it again so that we could have killed it properly. Because we would have killed it properly. We would have killed it from the 19%, and we would have killed it that day. But they didn't, so here we are. C'est la vie, I suppose. What was it? Mirrors of Torment. So the Venthia mage ability, if it was on the boss and it procced at the moment he tried to channel for the transition, it actually just straight interrupted him. Basically, Mirrors of Torment was interrupting things that were supposed to be immune to interrupts. That pull was the kill if it wasn't bugged? Yeah, exactly. The most dangerous part of that fight was that meteor cleave that we had just survived. Or the most dangerous part of that phase, I suppose. It was the meteor cleave that we had just survived. So, if it was a 19%, then we would have done it. But, it is what it is. Wildy for MVP? So, what's funny is, if you've seen the way that, that Sheesh have lost the last two great pushes, you know for a fact that, like, those players, Thana, Tom, Andy, Speed, Ramfam, not that he's with us, but you know that all of them are actually terrible at abusing bucks. That's what's funny about it. They actually, they hate it. And I know that some people were out there screaming, but my reaction's on the video. Biff's reaction is on my clip. You can hear the first words he says once we killed it was, "It's not meant to be like this." I've never heard that man in that much pain. Like, that was some movie shit. That was actually, like, I could feel that. I could feel that. Holy shit. But yeah, I mean, you know, it is what it is. We were gonna get world second regardless, and we got it, just not in the way that we wanted it. Sko also was so happy. He felt the same way we did. He felt the same way we did. Yeah, exactly. Like, you know, it's... Yeah, I don't know. It is what it is. How much you felt about it in the interview? Yeah, exactly. Exactly. He originally... Yeah, I'm surprised he did that interview. He... Excuse me, sorry. He originally wasn't going to do that interview. He wasn't sure if he was going to do it or not. I don't blame him. I don't blame him. I don't blame him. How do I feel now 2 days after? I feel proud of what we've done. I feel proud of what we've achieved. Because, bug or no bug, the way that we played over the last couple of days of the race was far better than the guilds around us. Straight up. We played far better than the guilds that were around us, and we were going to take that kill on the Tuesday no matter what. So, it is what it is. Not happy with how the kill occurred, but happy of how we played. You guys were on Echo level? I wouldn't say we were quite on Echo level, but I think we were maybe not too far off of it. Only for those last 2 days. We had... We had a period in the middle where we played like trash. And people were flaming each other, and it wasn't good, but I mean, you know. At least at the end we did good. Halondrus, yeah. Halondrus was not good. It was not good. I think most EU guilds have that moment, if I'm honest with you. I think most EU guilds do. I don't know about NA guilds. I feel like they're they meme a lot and too much to have those moments. But yeah. Do I use targeting macros? No. I just target him. I just click the health bar. Liquid was the only fear at that point you were at, so there was no chance you would miss it since it was only claimed recently but by the last 3 people. Yeah, true. More than anything, I'm just happy that we got out of there. You know? I'm just happy that we got out of the raid. That's what that's what we needed. That's what we needed. People needed to rest up. People needed to rest up. Sorry about the cough. It'll go away soon. It always happens when I start speaking for the first time in a day. I'm not entirely sure why. Probably has something to do with how so insanely unhealthy I am. What divides you from Echo at this point, or maybe what is method missing that the old method had to really compete for #1? Before this tier, I would have told you player skill. Individual player skill is actually there's actually quite a big difference between the likes of us and Liquid and maybe not Pieces at this point, I suppose, but us and Liquid and Echo. I would have said the player skill is one of the biggest things. But honestly, I would still say it's some part of it. Just not as big of a part of it as it was. I think now the biggest factor is just experience in a race-leading situation. Because raiding and playing from behind and having everything laid out in front of you is all well and good. But the moment you get to a point where you're in the lead and you have to make these strategies yourself, that is when you start getting the most valuable experience. So, being perfectly honest and being perfectly realistic, as I usually am, I think it's going to be very, very fucking difficult for us to get that kind of experience. It's one of those things that... in particular, because of no global release, it's going to be ridiculously hard for us to actually get that experience at all. Because, at the moment, Echo are a much more efficient guild than we are. Echo are a much, much more efficient guild than we are. So even if it were a case of, you know, we play really well on our own and we start catching up to Liquid or whatever, we may well still have Echo in front of us, so we'll still have the strategies laid out in front of us. What we did really well this tier that we weren't able to do in previous tier is our execution of certain strategies that we have seen and are looking to emulate was so much better. And that's a testament to how much the average player skill of the guild has just gone up with each of the past 3 tiers now that we've had. From Nathria, where we had 452 pulls on Stone Legion Generals, to Sepulchre of the first ones, where we had 140 odd on Rygalon. Yes, it wasn't exactly a very tactically hard fight, but, you know, even 260 on the Jailer. 260 on the Jailer, I think, is a lot more telling. Because that fight is not tactically hard, but very tactically precise. Which adds a level of difficulty in and of itself. And I do want to... excuse me. I do want to clear up now, because I'm sure that there are a lot of people... who think that we are now under some sort of grand delusions that we are now a better guild than Liquid. Absolutely not. In our very, very brief post-race talk, as a guild, off-stream, one of the first things that we all agreed on is we still have a long way to go. To catch up to Liquid and Echo, we still have a long way to go. You know? Liquid is still, by far and large, Liquid is still a better guild than us. But we've put ourselves in the best possible situation, or in the best possible place, to now try and succeed in the future. We've certainly put more eyes onto us, which is what we needed. Definitely what we needed. We're still going to come back stronger next tier again. You know? So sorry about coughing.
It should help.
Hey, thank you, Mo. Appreciate that. Thank you for the prime. I saw the rally before, but my voice won't handle it. My voice won't handle it. Drink something? I have been. I've probably not been drinking the right thing, because I've been drinking Diet Coke, but, you know. It is what it is, dude. It is what it is. Honestly believe Liquid even has the better skill than Echo. Echo is just smarter. Liquid relies more on their players. Probably not a bad perspective, but I reckon player skill-wise, they are very equal. Player skill-wise across the entire roster, they're very equal. But when it comes down to, like, individual players, like, you know, there's arguments to be made about who has the better warriors, who has the better mages, who has the better warlocks, who has the better demon hunters, and so on. You know? Across the entire roster, it probably balances out. But analyzing it down to a player-by-player basis, there's probably arguments to be made. We'll be on site and we'll make all the memes. You better believe it, Pete. What do I think about Revers? I think about Revers the same thing that everyone else thinks about Revers. It is that simple. It is that straightforward. There's no other way to put it. I think about Revers the same way that everyone else does. But I will tell you now, you know the old saying of no king rules forever? That will very much be the same with him. And okay, here's my concern with how Revers is viewed. Revers is viewed so highly, with good reason. He's a fucking tremendous player, easily one of the best overall players in the world. But my issue is that he is viewed so highly that it blinds the community at large to other really good players around him. Not just warriors, but other really good players around him. Atrocity doesn't get half of the recognition that he deserves because of Revers. Swag doesn't get half of the recognition he deserves because of Revers. Frago, same thing. I'll be honest, from this tier, me, same thing. Faithy, same thing. I don't think people get half the recognition they deserve because they're constantly being compared to Revers, who is, by far and large, probably the best warrior in the world at the moment. But what it does mean is that if someone actually has a performance in a tier that does rival or exceeds a Revers performance, that it won't be recognized and they won't get the props that they deserve. And that's what concerns me. But someone has to have that performance first. So that's not something that we need to worry about right now, is it? He's still by far and large one of the best players in the world. But that is my long-term concern. That's my long-term concern. And it's not even just for myself. It's legit for any other up-and-coming warrior, because you know that there'll be some. It's also consistency, of course. I fucking despise that word. I'm actually going to ban that word in my chat because it's been nothing but a meme for the past month. I swear, we've been constantly talking about consistency for the last month as a guild, that every time I hear it, I want to put my fist through my fucking monitor. Facts. Frago and Swag, they play multi-class and Revers not. That's not true. That's not true. In progress, Revers is the type of player who is so good on Warrior, why would you want him on anything else? But he does have other classes that he can play. He started on Boomkin. Well, I'm sure a lot of people know. He started on Boomkin, and he has a Warlock. He played Warlock for Unat. You know? But he is so good on Warrior, why would you want him on anything else? Consistently put your fist through your monitor. Fuck off. By the way, Callie, thank you for the tier 1 sub. Appreciate it. And Yilwin, Sasha, thank you for the 27 months, my friend. Welcome back, man. Thank you, thank you. I think Tobo's performance is also overlooked a bit this race. Well, first he played like 4 classes, didn't he? 3 at minimum. He played Hunter, he played why am I being attacked? He played Hunter, he played Shaman, and he played Boomy. Yeah, he did really well this tier. He did really well. I'm very proud of him. I'm very proud of him. Him and Six. Even if Six only played Mage, or only played Mage, however you want to talk about it, I'm very proud of both of them. You know? Do I feel the same way as Sko about your kill? Yes. If you want to know what my immediate reaction was after the kill itself is up on my YouTube. You can literally just skip to the end if you want, but you can see my immediate reaction to the kill. It was not good. It wasn't good. Fuck it, deserved 100%. I mean, since that point, I've I have, you know, settled with it since then, and, you know, come to the conclusion that we do as a guild deserve it, and we would have gotten it anyway. So, you know, it's not so bad now. But at the time, I did not like it. I did not like it. You could hear Biff saying, not like this as he was dying. Yep. Yep. And I felt that in my very soul. I felt that in my very soul. Is Deca Warrior going to be good, or is it safer to go Kyrian? In the long term, you'll be safer going Night Fae, I think. What was the bug? So the bug was if you had Mirrors of Torment up on the boss and one of the ticks procced, or the final tick procced, as the boss began phasing into P4, Mirrors of Torment would proc and cancel the heal. That's what we've learned it was since that point. Sounds like a feature. Yep. That's definitely a feature. Just know, is Echo the only guild that killed it without a bug? Or was they getting another bug with the walking? So they didn't get a bug that was going into P4, but they got another bug which happened on that fight with the tank chains in P3 that we also got from time to time. There was basically, for some reason, a random chance that you just would not have the chains connect to other people in the raid at one point when the boss was being moved. But it's something that we did legitimately look into to try and replicate, but we could not get it to replicate consistently, so we eventually just gave up trying and just, you know, if it happened, great, YOLO. If it didn't, whatever, we'll just deal with it. Ultimately, we figured it was too much effort trying to consistently make it happen. The spell was doing what it's supposed to accomplish. Yeah, exactly. Why didn't it happen for Echo? So, when we've looked into it since then, the only reason that we can think that it happened for us and not them was because the cooldown timings were different. Because Tom was receiving a PI, because we only had 2 Warlocks instead of 3. Tom was receiving a PI which was messing around with his cooldown timings, and 6 did not have it. Same thing for Skyline, I think. I'm pretty sure they also only use 2 Warlocks. Now, I initially thought it was something to do with using a Hunter, so the reason we didn't play an Arms Warrior was because we had a Hunter. And even though the Hunter was playing MM, as we were going into the final phase, we literally just had our Hunter summon the pet that applies the Mortal Wounds debuff, and then apply it to the boss as he was phasing. And the first time that the bug happened, I remembered hearing Jerv say, oh no, the pet's going to be late. And then right before the boss transitioned, he said, I've got it, meaning that the buff was applied late, and then the bug happened. So I thought that it was something to do with that initially, but yeah, apparently not. And then there was theories about it being when you push him over a hole, and then the hole opens up and shit like that, but that also wasn't true. That also was not true. Did Skyline also have the bug? Every guild that's killed it since Echo killed it has had that bug. Some have actively tried to use it, some just had it. Do I see how the Anduin stars are bugged? Yeah, I saw the clip. I saw the clip. That was actually pretty funny. Can't really discredit your kill anymore, then can you? No. I think that's something else that made me feel better about it, was the very fact that we were not aware of what was causing it, so we couldn't replicate it. And it was just after getting it for the second time that we just killed the boss, because we dealt with the hardest part of the phase. Whereas, you know, other guilds like Pieces and Liquid, and it's not a flame against them before anyone takes it as that, but whereas they actively look to try and replicate the bug. Which is fair enough. Like, everyone wanted out of that raid. Like, you know... Honestly, if I'd been in their situation, I would have looked to replicate the bug as well. If it got to a point of, like, World 4th, World 5th, and we just wanted out of the fucking raid. You know? It was a prison, after all. Did I play Nightfall or Kyrian in Raid? I played different specs for different bosses. I played all four... Sorry, not all different specs. I played all 4 Covenants across the entire Raid. Venthyr was only on Dorsane. Necro was only on Skolex. Mostly just for testing purposes. And the rest was split between Kyrian and Nightfall. Venthyr on Dorsane for the TP? Yeah. Yeah. Did you get the bug on the 0.4% attempt? Yes. We did. And we were happy at that point that we wiped. Because that gave us the opportunity. I don't think anyone was 100% sure how to handle that, so we literally just kept fighting. Because ultimately, the decision would have been left to Blizzard. If it wasn't supposed to happen, and if they didn't like it happening, then they could have just taken the kill away from us and reverted it all, and just rolled back our characters. Forcibly disconnected everyone, and then rolled back the characters, and resurrect the jailer, and just have us kill him again properly. But the fact that we wiped was good, because it meant that we were able to then actively report the issue to Blizzard. Which was good to be able to do, to be fair. Thank you, Cheeky. Will they nerf the jailer weapon? Doubtful. Doubtful. Biggest improvement as a guild from last tier? Probably player skill. Probably player skill alone. Player skill alone, I think, was a significant improvement. Not necessarily for the people who were already here, but the recruits that we brought in, like, honestly, that was kind of huge. That was actually huge. The overall skill of the guild has definitely gone up. The rest of this tier was more well-rounded than last tier. Yeah. Still too small, though. Still too small. We ideally want a roster of... We ideally want a roster of around, like, 28 people or so, and this tier we had a roster of, like, 24. So, yeah. The Skyline guy just got the 285 hammer last night? Yeah, saw that. I was watching their kill. When will we be doing Mythic Reclears? We're going to do our first Mythic Reclear on Monday. I think we're going to do it on Monday. Just a question, why did you not stop the kill when you noticed that it was bugged again? I mean, a lot of you guys felt really unhappy about the kill. Well, when we talked about it afterwards, a lot of us were considering... Sko himself also said, like, we were looking, or a few of us wanted to ask, should we just jump off? But also I think that there was an overwhelming feeling of we're so fucking done with this raid that we kind of just want out. The way that I thought about it at the time was literally what I said just before. If it wasn't supposed to happen, and if Blizzard wasn't happy about it, they could revoke the kill, take away the achievement, roll the raid back so the jailer was still alive, and roll back our characters for the same reason. And just make us do it again. Because 100% the moment we reported it, Blizzard will have been watching us. 100% Blizzard will have been watching us the moment we reported it. Because they would have wanted extra data. So, people were thinking about bringing it up, but no one ever did. And you're right, quite a few of us were unhappy about the kill. You know? Somewhat like a get me out of here. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Exactly. Hello, Ninja Kush. M plus push time? Yeah, I hopefully we're doing a little bit of M plus today, at some point, but it won't be much because curve boosting starts today. So, yeah. Modding was hard enough for 12-hour days. Can't imagine how taxing it was on you guys. Yeah, it sucked. It sucked. I said this on my Twitter. If you want to go follow my Twitter, you can. But I said this on my Twitter. My short summary of the past month is that the raid was really good, but the tier was fucking trash. Like, it's a raid that, in the immediate aftermath, is tainted by all the shit that we had to do. All the splits. The fact that it went on for so long. The fact that it didn't have to go on for quite as long if they just gave us double legendary from the start. It would have been of a pretty perfect length if they just gave us double legendary from the start, I think. I think it would have been just shy of 2 weeks. Maybe it's about 12 days or so, give or take. Glad you got world second. Thank you, MM. You have better stamina than Liquid, clearly. You can either call it better. I think the fact that we were playing from home from the start played to our advantage. Because I'll be honest, playing away from home at a venue for that amount of time and for those number of hours for that many days, yeah. I'm not sure if I could have handled something like that. It's not really something that you can... It's not really something that you can accurately say yes or no as to whether you would have been able to handle it if you weren't in that position yourself. For sure. So I think Skyline will compete for first or second place if there was a worldwide release. Don't know. They've shown that they're clearly very, very good. So I don't know. Maybe. Maybe. They, especially when it comes to first place, they suffer a lot in the same ways that we do. We don't have experience at the very, very top. We don't have experience of innovating our own strategies and implementing them, and then having the pressure of the guilds behind us basically using those strategies if they're shown to work, and cutting the time shorter as a result. Cutting the gap shorter as a result. You know? It's difficult. It's very difficult. And it's difficult to get that experience now as well. At least until global release. What's your opinion on Jimmy / Fragments? I mean, the dude's a machine. What can you really say about Fragments other than he's an absolute machine? It baffles me why he flings his camera about so much, but I don't know. Maybe that's just me being a boomer. Want to join my race to World Lads Guild for Wrath Classic? I'm in, dude. It's DH tech? Oh, I'll never understand that then. Gives you more damage, trust. Yeah. That's why you always have to jump as a melee, because you crit more. But no. Yeah, Jimmy's a machine. Jimmy's a machine. All of you are saying how much they love multiple week races. I get that, but disagree. I still maintain 2 week races are about the maximum that any raid should be expected to last just for health and stuff. I mean, I'll be honest. I think certainly the Race to World First hype died off within the guilds the moment we realized that it was going to be a like, you know, 3, almost 4 week race. The hype definitely died off within the guilds, and honestly, by about the 2.5, 3 week mark, the hype was dying off in the community as well. The hype only came back when Echo took World First. And then the hype maybe came back again when we were closing in on World Second, because it was something new. But, you know, whereas normally on a normal race, the hype might drop a little bit, but it doesn't really have time to drop off too much before it comes straight back again for World First. This time there was a big gap in the middle. There was a big gap in the middle where people were able to just sort of think, oh, that's still going on, is it? Oh, well. I actually think it plays to Blizzard's benefit if a race doesn't go on for that long. You know? Viewership drop massively on channels after 2 weeks? Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I don't think we'll see a tier this long again. Not on purpose. Not on purpose. I do think this is possibly the hardest tier of, I don't want to say of all time, because obviously difficulty changes as the years go on. But of the last 2 expansions, probably, this is probably the hardest overall tier ever for the past, like, 2 expansions. Maybe 3. Possibly 4. Maybe since MOP. Because before then, raids were very different. I certainly think it's the hardest mythic raid of all time. Which would make it since the very end of MOP. Tuma Sargeras. I don't think it was hard overall. Didn't it only have, like, 1 or 2... It only had, like, 2 incredibly hard bosses, right? In Avatar and KJ. Whereas this had a Halondrus and every boss after that were very difficult. Even some of the bosses before that were not super easy. A lot of it comes down to how do you measure difficulty? Do you measure it based on a single boss that took the most number of pulls? Or do you base it on, like, every boss individually? You know? Science of Domination lasted 7 days. They had to make this one hard, but it turned to be super hard. What's funny is that during the race itself, Quick came into my chat to ask how things were going, and I just turned around and said, "This raid is really fucking hard. This raid is really fucking hard." And his exact response was, "Well, the last one was too easy," with a winky face. And I was like, you naughty naughty. You're teasing me. You're teasing me. It was funny. And I just know 100% that's exactly how the devs... That's exactly how the devs thought about it. That's 100% what the devs thought. They were like, everyone's talking about the last raid being too easy. Right, you bastards. Get ready for a month of prison. Yeah, let's go. Are we alive? Thana, we're more than alive, bro. When are you coming to Poland? I fly on the 5th. I fly on the 5th. I arrive at, like, just after 8 o'clock at night. Hey, Crash, thank you for giving Thana the D. Appreciate that, bro. I think I've given a lot of D. You certainly have. I believe THD said to some devs that last raid was too easy, or if it was Fired Up that did it, and then he was like, I might have fucked up by saying that. Yeah. I mean, it was a sentiment that everyone shared in top guilds. I'm not sure if we felt that way about it. I think we were just too busy being pissed off that we didn't get World Third last year. But, yeah. Congrats, Dan. All the people were great, but Thana and you, great performance. Hey, thank you, Epicurus. Thank you very much. Yeah, Thana's a monster. Thana's a monster. Yes, I woke up and there was that emptiness. Yeah. Yeah, I was supposed to be doing some I was supposed to be doing a little bit of M+ today, and then that announcement went out that the boosting that we're going to be doing is fucking mandatory, and I was like, oh, well, guess I still don't get to enjoy the game just yet. Very good. Very good. Lovely. Happy days. Congrats, brother. Well deserved kill. Q should that adored. Thank you, man. Hey, thank you, Locke. Appreciate that, buddy. Thank you, man. How long did World first last in COD? You mean, if you mean Sanctum, it was only like... It didn't see a reset in EU. It was basically like 7 days. Six, 7 days or so. What tune? This was a tune of my race. This was an absolute tune of my race. I played this so much. Holy shit, I'm pretty sure I have played the same songs like fucking 50 plus times. But this shit got me so focused. Why am I doing dailies in Zereth Mortis? Because I still want rep for my Infinite Augment rune. Which isn't until Exalted, so I'm still doing the weekly and dailies and... Well, I'm doing the weekly and world quests at least. I want that rep. I want to save money. I want to save that gold. I'm going to turn it down again now, though, because I can't hear myself fucking think. Shouldn't play it now if it's your focus song. Oh, I mean, the way the song goes, it'll get me focused anyway. Actually, I know what to do. I know what to do. There was another... Yeah, let's play this. There we go. That's better. That's more chill. How much boosting is there going to be? Well, apparently the boosting is definitely going to go on. The boosting is definitely going to go on over the next few days, and it's all going to be mandatory, apparently. So, yeah, lots to do. Lots to do. Feels good to be free now, absolutely. And thank you for the congrats, Bambi. Appreciate that. Also, thoughts on Liquid absolutely bottling it on the jailer. I don't know. I honestly don't know. I'm conflicted on their decision. Obviously, I don't think empathy. Thank you for the tier 1 sub. Appreciate that. Thank you. I don't think that we were told all of the reasons behind their decision to basically concede the world first. I can't imagine that it is only just for the mental health and well-being of the raiders, because I'll be honest, I'm not going to say it wasn't for that. I do think that was a big driving force behind it, but we don't know if there were other reasons behind it either. I just find the one thing that I have a little bit of an issue with is the timing in which they did it. That's what I have any remote issue with. You know? Like, clearly their mental was taking a beating because they were definitively behind in the race and they were going to lose. But it was basically the moment Echo started hitting P4 that Liquid then threw in the towel and said, we're going to concede world first and we're going to take some days off and then go home and raid from there. I don't think that it will ever come out this way, but I don't want that to then lead to... I don't think the guild themselves will ever say this, but I don't want diehard Liquid fans to then start saying, but Echo only got it because Liquid conceded. You know? I don't want that decision to cheapen what Echo did, in the same way that I don't want the bug to cheapen what we did in the final few days of our tier. From Rygalon onwards. Even Lords of Dread was decent. You know? Yeah, I don't know. The timing of it was weird. They probably got kicked out from the studio. I was wondering if that might have had something to do with it. I think their mental was not great when Scott had to go back home. Honestly. Like, losing effectively their main tank for, like, an entire day or two is big. Like, Atlas is sick, but the Jailer is something else for tanks. Like, I'll be honest, right? Everyone knows how good of a tank Andy is, you know? Everyone knows how good of a tank Andy is. He legit just got straight up one-shot by the Jailer sometimes. Just straight up one-shot. No counterplay. 100% HP with a blood shield. And the Jailer just went, have some of that, and he fell over. That boss is hard. That boss is hard. That boss is fucking hard. Mira's got one shot on pull. Yep. But we found out why that was. And they found out why that was as well. And Scott, or Sko, rather, never got one shot. But yeah, honestly. It was so funny, man. And first time Andy gets one shot from 100%. What? What a guy. What a guy. Now is in distress on Rygalon. I bet. Loved Rygalon. Holy shit. Best boss of the whole tier. I don't give a fuck what anyone says. People could talk about Halondrus this, Halondrus that. No. Rygalon was by far, the best boss in this tier. By far. Why was Rygalon the best? The fight was very tight. The fight was very tight on DPS and healing checks, and it was so ridiculously fast-paced in such a condensed amount of time, you literally could not make a single mistake. You could not make a single mistake, or you were just fucked. You were fucked. You were dead. Everyone had to be on their game. Everyone had to be on their game. Same with Halondrus. Yeah, but it was a bit different because the pressure was only on a certain few people. For me, the way that fight played out and the way that I ended up playing that fight on the kill, that fight never got hard for me. The fight never got hard for me. It was a good fight. It was a very good fight, and I enjoyed Halondrus a lot. In fact, there was almost no fight in that raid that I didn't enjoy. I loved them all. Also think the last burn phase of Rygalon was hype. Yeah, that's quite cool. Literally just 30 seconds of stand and nuke as a unified entity, as a guild. Everyone DPSing, even the healers. Raid boss design is a banger. Yup. First boss, did I like it? I thought for a first boss it was okay. But obviously I'm going to discount first bosses because, you know, whoever cares about first bosses, you know what I mean? I was so happy when Method killed the fucking boss, and I watched that in his stream, and he was like, bro, why we didn't kill it last week? Yeah. I was, yeah, I wasn't happy about the way that we killed it, but it is what it is. Yeah, exactly. Thanos actually got it perfectly right. Halondrus was sick for what is effectively a mid-tier boss. You know, you're talking like you're talking roughly Painsmith positioning. You know? Like, Halondrus was sick for that reason, but Rygolon is just going to go down as... like I said, I've said it before, it's actually going down as one of my favourite bosses of all time. Not quite to the same level as Lei Shen or Gul'dan or Unat, but definitely not far off. I think it's probably the best penultimate boss I've ever played. 100% it's actually the best penultimate boss I've ever played. That might be different if I'd played Fallen Avatar, but I didn't. So, deal with it. Mentality-wise, Liquid is so different to Echo. I like that they keep a good vibe during raids, etc., but it sometimes feels like they are alright with losing, while Echo can't even stand the thought of it. Might just be reading too much into it. Maybe. Yeah, maybe. That's performance, you did a great job, brother. Thank you, Melkus. I appreciate that. Yeah, I feel like I played well this tier. I feel like I played well. I had some very shaky moments. I had a couple of shaky moments on Halondrus where I kept pressing Crushing Blow and charging underneath a beam. But that was funny more than anything else. And then I had a little bit of fatigue-induced moments on the Jailer. But outside of that, I feel like I played really well. I feel like I played Rygolon really well. But I think we all did. I mean, it's clear that we all played Rygolon well, otherwise we wouldn't have killed it in that few number of pulls. Thought it was quite funny how Early Shift snuck in World First Vigilant Guardian. Yeah, that was quite true. That was quite funny. One of the only guilds to actually be doing it. How many pulls? Should we find out? Where are we? Statistics and bosses. There you go. That's our pull count for every boss for the first kill on this column right here. So 1 for Vigilant Guardian, because why not? 2 for Skolex. What did we hit after that? Actually, did we do Dorsane first? Can't remember. 2 for Skolex, 5 for Dorsane, 10 for Zymox, which was actually decent. Ignore that because I wasn't in on Prototype Pantheon. That was my first kill, which was the second kill on that boss. So I'm pretty sure it doesn't count the wipes that I was there. That also is not accurate. I don't think. Yeah, that's also not accurate because I wasn't in for the entirety of Lehuvim prog. Ah, here's the thing. Right, okay. A little bit of insight into how I felt this tier. I got benched for Prototype Pantheon because the decision was made to keep in people who did not already have a weapon that wasn't Jaethus. Like, I had a 265, but Jaethus was better, but I got benched anyway because I had a 265. And, so I got benched for that reason. I was then still benched for the beginning of Lehuvim. Now, I'd felt that through Heroic Week and through the beginning of Mythic, I'd been playing really well, so I got really pissed off at this. I then got brought into Lehuvim because Kana had been pushing for it to make a change to our comp, to swap Vikland to healing, to swap Vikland to a Holy Priest, and then put me back in to cover that warrior spot that he was taking. They then brought me in, and I was so pissed off with the decision to bench me, because you would be. I play this game to play progress, so I naturally get a little bit angry when I don't get to play progress. So I came in super fucking focused, and I feel like I played really well on Lehuvim, and then was effectively in for the rest of prog. Yeah. 341 on Halondrus. Now, what I'm happy with about Halondrus is that this never reached Stone Legion General's level, which was 452. And I said that to Biff repeatedly. At least we were 100 pulls shy of Stone Legion Generals, you know? Thank God. Thank God. 211 on Anduin, which was pretty decent. 72 on Lords of Dread, which was alright. That's actually less than I thought it was. That's actually less than I thought it was. I thought it was 140 odd on Rygolon, but it was 136. God damn. Holy shit, we played that boss good. Oh, damn, we played that boss good. Let's fucking go. And then, yeah, 258 or 260 or whatever it was on the jailer. Oh, yeah. So this little stat here, the first blood stat, I was looking through this last night because I like having a look at it. And you can see a lot of Hunto too. I think this just shows that, you know, the Hunter is fucking squishy. I'm not sure if this accurately depicts the Huntoper himself had a bad tier or whatever. I think it just points out that Hunters are very squishy. But in 258 pulls of the Jailer, Jerv had the most number of first bloods. So, how many pulls do you think, out of 258, Jerv was the first one to die? At a rough guess. How many would you say? 178, go big. Okay. 30, 100. I mean, we'll have a look at some of the previous ones, like, you know, 19 here for Vikland. We'll look at Halondrus, Huntopa, 174, quite a lot. About half of the pulls, quite a few, you know? So, it's, you know, quite a lot. Quite a lot. 20, 80, 68, 192. Yeah. Hunter takes lots of damage. Hunter takes a lot of damage. Now, again, I don't want you thinking that this is because Jerv is necessarily a bad player. He is fucked by the class he was playing. Isn't it bug tracking Hunter? Exactly. Yeah, that is part of the problem. It is also bug tracking Hunter. It actually counts Feign Death. But yeah, no, he played really well. He played really fucking well. He played super well. Oh, right. I don't know what to do right now. You know? Anyone got a clip of Andy getting one-shot by the Jailer? I don't know if he was streaming at the time. Otherwise, someone would have made a clip of it. I don't think anyone made a clip of it on my stream, at least. How many hours till boosting starts? We start at 1400. So we start in an hour and a bit. Yeah, an hour and a bit. Hey, Volvo, what's up, man? What do I think of the first Sigil trinket? It's good. It's good. I think it's incredibly situational, though. I'm not entirely sure if it's a sim trap or not. I mean, it's clearly really good because it lines up with potion usage. You know what I mean? So, it's clearly really good because chances are, at the time you're using first Sigil, you're using potion alongside it. So, you know, it's a shit ton of primary stat plus a shit ton of versatility on top of it, so you're doing a crap ton of extra damage. But I personally, you know, if you've been in this stream for even like just less than a day, you'll know that I favor consistency. I hate that word. I'm gonna put my fist through my fucking monitor. I favor consistency over burst when it comes to Fury Warrior in particular. So I'm always going to prefer OPC over First Sigil, even though in certain fights, like Anduin in particular, I think First Sigil might be better. But I'm always going to prefer OPC, in all honesty. Does Jailer Mace scale with anything? I don't know. I'm pretty sure that the damage effects will scale off of verse and crit, but I don't think any of them are hasted. C-word is banned. It was me that helped get it banned. I get so angry when I hear people say that now. But it's true. It's true. It's true. Doing first Sigil and OPC right now. Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough. I'm kind of looking forward to Monday. When we do a re-clear. Our re-clear on Monday is not with the aim of re-clearing the entire raid, because we just want to chill. We might have a few beverages. But I want this. I need this really badly. Because I think this is going to be sick in M+. I think this is actually going to be sick. It does a lot of damage. Might not do as much damage for me, but for a warrior, but does a lot. Does a lot. I also think that in M+ we are going to end up dropping Old Warrior's Soul for something like that. If I'm honest, I think we'll end up dropping it. Wow, you can play and drink beer? Now that the race is over, I can, yeah. Hell yeah. What are your thoughts on Naya versus Dreamweaver? Blood Mallet still shows Naya as best for raid, but Dreamweaver sims 200 more DPS for some reason. I think they are both really good. I think all three trees of Night Fae, all three soulbinds of Night Fae are all really good in different situations, but a lot of it is based on how much are you moving. So, for example, in P1 and P2 of Halondrus, I think Dreamweaver is better because the amount of moving that you need to do is significantly less. But the pressure point of the fight, which is P3, you are moving constantly, so Naya then suddenly gains value. Which is partly why I played Naya on that fight. I tried both. I actually played both. I played Dreamweaver and Naya on Halondrus because we were there for so long, I started experimenting with shit. And I like them both. I like them both a lot. And I feel like I would have done more damage in the fight overall with Dreamweaver, but I did more damage in the pressure point of the fight with Naya. So, yeah. It was the same decision. I actually ended up playing Nature's Fury this raid. Even if it was just temporarily, I actually played Nature's Fury before Unity. And I played it on Halondrus, because Halondrus doesn't fucking move. And the only times you're going to use Aftershock are on the phases where Halondrus is standing still. So you get the full uptime from Nature's Fury, and honestly, it does good damage. It does really good damage. It's just that the target has to stand in it the whole time. What soulbind did I use for Ryglon? Karain. Karain, because there's the constantly spawning Quasar ads that need to die, and it's easy enough to cleave them. And yeah, first strike is sick. Quasar, yeah, it's like exactly the little lads. Hey, put it, yeah, Browser Kitch, how you doing, my friend?